Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Average Josh podcast, and today we'll be discussing that man Blair Cobbs. So Blair the Flair Cobbs actually managed to upset Maurice Hooker. Who would have seen that coming? Well, we all know who saw that coming. I saw that coming. When I first started, you did see Blair Cobbs drop Maurice Hooker a few times. He was actually being relatively aggressive, but he was being relatively defensively sound. When you compare him to like Blair Cobbs' normal standards. So it was a pretty good fight, you know. You had Blair Cobbs initially being relatively defensively sound. Maurice Hooker, who like I said in the last video, he seemed like he was going through some things. And that definitely affected him. He just really didn't seem like himself in the fight. You saw it as he was coming in when he didn't necessarily make weight. You saw it, you know, in his body language throughout the fight. He just really wasn't in it. But Blair Cobbs, he got a new trainer and he actually did come to win, and for the most part he did pretty well. Now, of course, there were still a lot of things that Blair Cobbs did that I wouldn't necessarily define as being up to par for him to be able to really be an elite fighter. One of which was the fact that he still can't really fight off the back foot. There was a time like past the 8th round when he kind of knew that he had to fight in the bag, where he was just moving around and he kept moving and he wasn't really throwing that many punches. Like every now and then he would stop and he'd throw like a straight left or something, but it wasn't really a lot of punches. He wasn't really fighting off the back foot as much as he was just stalling for time, because he knew that he had to fight in the bag, and he knew that he didn't really want to take any more punishment from Maurice Hooker. Now, in the beginning of the fight, he did show a whole lot of his he did show improvement defensively in the beginning of the fight. He was being very sound. Near the middle of the fight, once he kind of saw that he was winning, and he kind of wanted to go for the knockout, he started reverting back to his old self, where he would throw wild punches without really worrying about the defense, and Maurice Hooker was countering him and tagging him back. But he went back to the corner, and his cornermen kept telling them, just, you know, that you're winning this fight, calm down, you know, give him a good 1-2, don't get too wild, They said that repeatedly. So I think it was a good idea for him to switch his trainer. He said he switched from Freddie Roach to his new trainer because he wanted to have more individual attention, and they definitely showed him that. Like his trainer in the beginning, he was telling him he loved him. He was giving him good instructions. He was really managing Blair Cobbs' temperament as well, which is something that great trainers do. They're able to calm you down and tell you what you need. You see that a lot with or Jamel Charlo with Derek James. You see that a lot with them, when he's kind of like in the middle of the fight and his emotions start to take over. Derek James kind of calms him down, gives him the instructions and tells him what he needs to overcome in that moment, which gives him the confidence to go through and actually win the fight. But one thing I will say about Maurice Hooker was that even though he was facing a lot of adversity, even though, you know, he had that person recently pass away and he wasn't in the right headspace, you know, Maurice Hooker, he was still always in the fight, still looking for that knockout, still trying his best. But I think just life had gotten to him, as well as just coming off that layoff, coming off the injury, him not necessarily being himself, someone in his personal life passing away. It just seemed too much for him to overcome at the time. Plus, Blair Cobbs did make some small incremental changes. And just like I said in my last prediction video, if Blair Cobbs made those incremental changes and he was hungry and he was desperate and he was going out there to really win, and Maurice Hooker wasn't in the right state of mind, that he was gonna win by split decision most likely. But it ended up that Blair Cobbs ended up winning by unanimous decision and got 3 knockdowns. So that's all I got to say about that. And to all the Blair Cobbs haters, I just gotta say, man, he's back, man. He's still gonna be in boxing for a little while longer. So it gives me something to talk about, and y'all can go ahead and just talk shit as much as you want to. But you know, nobody's really gonna watch this video, so it really doesn't matter. But yeah, Blair Cobbs is back. He's still going to be in the boxing game for a little bit longer. And we're going to see some entertaining stuff out of him. So can I get a big woo? That's the best I can do. I'm not a very enthusiastic person. But it is what it is. You all have a great day. I'm out.